A four-wheel drive system is a very important attribute of cars nowadays, especially for people who live in remote locations or for those who are eager to drive a car capable of ensuring the maximum grip no matter what weather conditions are. Many car manufacturers could distinguish the advantages of the four-wheel drive system, especially Audi, Lancia, Subaru or Mitsubishi. At some point, due to the four-wheel drive system, those manufacturers were able to crush their opponents in World Rally Championships. However, today we would like to share with you about the very first cars which were equipped with such a system. Do not forget to subscribe our channel, hit the bell, and be the first to hear the real stories of Automania. The references to the vehicle having four-wheel drive can already be found in the late 19th century, when the first car was invented. However, to find the real pioneer of the four-wheel drive system, we eventually ruled out all sorts of experiments, which included the steam or the electric engines. Thus, the actual four-wheel drive system was first introduced in a modern car produced by an automobile company called Spyker. The latter was two-seater sports car Spyker 60 HP, which at the time differed from other vehicles due to its many features. For example, it was the first car to have 6-cylinder gasoline engine, or the brake system which applied the braking force on all four wheels. However, the most thrilling innovation was a four-wheel drive system. The original plan of the Dutch manufacturer was to introduce this new model in the Paris-Madrid race, but due to various reasons, the very first cars were produced only in December 1903. Since Spyker 60 HP could not participate in a long and difficult marathon. Later, this model competed in various sprint races, where it showed its advantages against other four-wheel competitors. As you know, the first car having a four-wheel drive system was produced by Spyker, but the American company Four-Wheel Drive Auto Company, established in 1908, managed to adapt four-wheel drive in mass production. Particularly, this company was producing 2- and 3-ton lorries for the American and British armies during the First World War. All-wheel drive vehicles were exclusively used in the army till 1930, but then the Marmon Harrington Company came up with an idea. The engineers of this company designed a four-wheel drive pickup truck and lorry. Both of them were built using Ford chassis. At first, this lorry was offered to the army, later for civilians. It did not take long for Marmon Harrington designed lorry to become very popular in the oil industry, where the requirements of the vehicles in operation were very strict. However, not every oil well was reached by such a vehicle, especially the ones which were in remote areas. Once a four-wheel drive system has become more and more popular among the lorries and other heavy machinery, finally, the four-wheel drive system was implemented in a mass-produced car. It was a Japanese automobile Kurogane Type 95, which saw daylight in 1936. At first, this compact roadster or pickup truck or four-door sedan was dedicated only for high-ranking military officers, but soon enough the civilians were allowed to purchase Kurogane Type 95 too, as it became an additional source of income. Kurogane Type 95 was considered a pioneer of the automotive industry in a particular way. However, the Americans, who were the winners of the Second World War, took all glory for four-wheel drive with their compact Jeep. The latter became an icon and a symbol of World War II, and during this conflict, there were more than 1 million units made of Jeep vehicles. After the victory in World War II and the enhanced influence of the USA in the world, the Jeep, which had just been transporting the troops, soon was adapted for usage on the regular roads. The first CJ2 and the second CJ2A models were phenomenal. American Jeep became a real inspiration for other automotive companies. One of them was the British Land Rover. Its designer Maurice Wilks, using his own original Jeep vehicle on his farm, truly believed that he could develop a much better version of Jeep for the war-torn country. Since the resources within the country were limited, the designer developed the first Land Rover vehicle using solid steel and aluminium. The choice of aluminium was made because it was cheap and easy to get, since aluminium was widely used in aviation. Later, the Toyota Land Cruiser, the Japanese version of Jeep, saw daylight. Surprisingly, Toyota developed its model at the USA request, which experienced a shortage of vehicles in the Korean War. The first version of Land Cruiser, in principle, was a very precise copy of the Jeep vehicle. However, there was one main difference between these two. The Japanese Land Cruiser did not have a low-range transfer case. Nevertheless, Land Cruiser was the first vehicle in the world to climb to the 6th station on the trail to the top of Mount Fuji. Americans had Jeep, British people Land Rover, and Japanese had Toyota. All great countries had their 4x4 vehicle, which was used both by army and civilians. The leaders of the Soviet Union also have expressed the same desire to have their 4x4. They could not stand the idea that others have, and they don't. The engineers of the Soviet Union had performed several experiments with four-wheel drive, even before World War II. At the time, the manufacturer GAZ was responsible for designing and improving off-road vehicles. In the factories of this company, the models such as GAZ 61, GAZ 64, GAZ 67, and GAZ 69 saw daylight. These were different, but at the same time also similar versions of four-wheel drive trucks, which were acknowledged due to a surprising amount of off-roading capability. The last version of GAZ 4x4 truck was GAZ 69, and it received the highest recognition. During the period of production, which lasted quite long, manufacturer GAZ produced more than 600,000 units of GAZ 69, which operated in various regions of USSR. The successor of GAZ 69 was broadly well-known UAZ 469. The latter is probably the most popular and famous Russian 4x4 military light utility vehicle, which, including various modifications, is still in serial production to this day. 1963 year. Remember this year. Why? Because in these years Jeep introduced a new 4x4 vehicle, which caused a revolution in the 4x4 segment. Until then, all 4x4 vehicles without any exceptions were made for one and only one purpose: comfortably and safely transport people while driving off-road. Meanwhile, Jeep Wagoneer was designed for families and people who did not have any desire to drive off-road but wanted to have a car that has a 4x4 truck-style design. Jeep Wagoneer is considered not only a revolutionary vehicle, but it is also a pioneer of the SUV, or Sports Utility Vehicle class, the same class in which vehicles drive people crazy. Jeep Wagoneer appeared in the market 7 years earlier than other higher-class SUV Range Rover. The latter managed to outshine an extremely important Jeep Wagoneer vehicle.